Today, there's someone special we want to thank. You see, this person is the reason why so many of us are earning enough for the very first time. Why our families can sleep better for the first time. The reason why some of us get to do what our parents didn't. Why the older generation won't get left behind. Why it's possible to maintain a way of life. No matter where we come from or what we were born with. This special person is you. Thanks to you, we can make a living for the first time. We've learned a couple of new tricks. We're selling some pretty unusual stuff online for the first time. Oh, we've even made some new friends. We can afford to finally finish school. Afford to worry a little less for the first time. And provide just a little more for the people we love most.
Welcome back to the sessions, guys, and I'm so happy to see you all again here. Okay, and for those who did not join the first speech session, I am James. Welcome to the ABCDE event, and the event all about AI and Big Data Conference for data engineers. Okay, if you can't hear my voice, please try to use Google Chrome. Okay, the browser works better for this platform. Okay, and if you have any questions during all the speech sessions, please drop your questions in the Q&A tab. Okay, and your question will be entitled. Okay, we are happy to introduce our next keynote speaker from Grab. And Grab is my favorite apps all the time. Okay, Mr. Jeremia, a data analyst from Grab Singapore. His chosen topic will be the Grab culture, A&B testing, and product innovations. It's your time now, Mr. Jeremia.
Hi, I hope everyone can hear me clear. Please let me know if people can't hear me because I had some technical difficulties. Yeah. So let me just share my screen and begin what I'll be sharing today. Yeah, I'm still trying to recover from that video. It makes me want to cry every time.
It's so touching.
Yeah, awesome the work in Grab for that kind of causes. I hope everyone can see my screen, yeah, and can hear my voice quite clearly. Let me know, James, if you still can't see my screen.
Yep.
All good?
You can see.
Okay. Yeah, so as James mentioned, today I'll be sharing a lot about our Grab culture with a separator between the A and the B there. Basically how A/B testing has helped us to innovate at scale here at Grab. Yeah, and I'm very happy to be sharing with you guys in this beautiful afternoon. Yeah. So before I start, just a little bit about me. I'm a data scientist at Grab. My focus is on analytics. My top 3 responsibilities are as follows. First of all, I do a lot of A/B testing. If you guys are still not familiar about what A/B testing is, don't worry. I'll run you through a bit about what A/B testing is all about. Second of all is I do all kinds of root cause analysis at Grab. So you can think of it like the internal consultant for Grab. So if someone wants to understand why certain trends are happening, why certain numbers are moving in a certain way, they will usually come to me and help. I will help analyze the data and come up with recommendations. Lastly, it's also on building automation and modeling capabilities. As our company's scales, it gets a bit hard to keep track of all of our customers and our drivers. So I help Grab to automate some of the things that we need to automate while we are scaling. Okay, and a bit about a fun fact about me is I have a lovely Shih Tzu here. She is in Jakarta, so I haven't seen her in about 2 years because of COVID, but she just celebrated her 10th birthday without me. And I just posted here because she looks very happy for a dog that has hit the 10-year-old mark, which is about 70 years old in human age. So yeah, I wish to be as happy and as young forever like her, Yes. So
his brother sit on the cake, is it?
yeah. So this is actually a dog edible cake. I mean, humans can eat it, but we choose not to eat it. But it's a dog edible cake, and I think it took her like about 3 weeks to finish that because we don't want her to get diabetes or whatever it is in dog terminology. So I'm not sure, but yeah. So that's about my dog. Let's stop talking about my dog and focus more about A/B testing. So first of all, I'm gonna give you guys a bit of an understanding what is A/B testing because it's gonna be in the core of what I'm gonna be talking about today. Maybe some of you guys have heard about it, have read about it, or even did your own A/B testing. Maybe some of you guys don't even know what A/B testing and have never heard about A/B testing is. Whatever stage you're in, don't worry, I'll give you guys a bit of an overview, right? High-level understanding about what A/B testing is really all about. Okay, so I hope you guys are familiar with this screen right here, right? It's the Grab homepage. If you're not familiar with it, I suggest you guys download the Grab app because it's going to be very helpful with everything that you do in your life. But yeah, let's say this is the Grab homepage and a product designer comes to you who is a data scientist at Grab. Let's say you're me, okay? You're doing my job. Let's say a product designer comes to you and say, hey, I have an idea that if we change the transport icon into the Avengers logo, we're going to increase the number of transport bookings per user. Okay, again, a product designer comes with a hypothesis that changing the transport icon into the Avengers logo will increase the number of transport bookings per user, which is a success metric, right? A metric that we can measure. So what do? Right? Someone comes to you with this crazy idea. You want to say that it is too crazy to be true, but at the same time, we are a startup, so we need to embrace crazy ideas. So at Grab, we typically come up with this kind of response to our product designer. We'll tell them that we should run an A/B testing in order to validate whether or not the hypothesis is true. Okay, so what is A/B testing? Okay, so right now we have 2 different Grab homepage screens. The one on the left is the Grab homepage as is, right? It's our original homepage. And the Grab homepage on the right is the Grab homepage with the crazy Avengers logo idea, right? We have 2 different homepages now because of our crazy product designer. And we typically call the screen on the left as the control environment, which is our product as is without any changes. And the homepage on the right, the screen on the right, as the variant environment, which is the screen with the change, which is the Avengers logo. Okay, and so every day there are thousands, even millions of users opening the Grab app, right, every day. And what we'll do is we will split 50% of them to see our original homepage, right? We call these users as the control group, people who are seeing the control environment. And the other 50% will push them to see the variant homepage. And we call these users the variant group. Okay, so basically 50% of the Grab users will see the old or the existing homepage, and the other 50% will see the new homepage. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll let this sort of situation run for like maybe a month. And after a month, we'll say, okay, we're done. Let's now compute the number of transport bookings per user, which is the success metric that we've decided. And then we see which group, is it the control group or is it the variant group that has the higher number of transport bookings per user? If the variant group has the higher number of transport bookings per user, then we can tell our designer that yes, your crazy hypothesis is true, and we should, in the future, change our homepage into the Avengers homepage for 100% of our users, for all of our users. But if the control has the higher number of transport bookings per user, then we will tell our product designer, hey, your crazy idea is not working. We should stick with our original Grab homepage, and we should scrap the idea of the Avengers logo. Okay, so a bit of a recap. Instead of launching the Avengers homepage into all of our users, instead we run an experiment. We split a 50-50 in order to find out which homepage is better. Okay, so that's everything that you need to know about A/B testing. If you guys are into statistics, and I'm pretty sure most of you are, and you guys want to learn more about it, feel free to go online. There's a lot of resources about it. But today I'm just going to give like this sort of qualitative understanding of what A/B testing is. Yeah. So I hope everyone is comfortable with the concept of A/B testing. Now, there are two main use cases of A/B testing. Okay. Any sort of A/B testing that you read online or that you have encountered in your life, they will always fall in either of these two use cases. Okay. So what are those two use cases? The first use case is when we want to make changes on existing products. Okay, this is the same as our Avengers example just now. We already have a product, which is our homepage, right? You can think of a homepage as a product. We already have it. We are just trying to change it, and we want to know whether the change works for the best. Okay, so this is the first use case. And the experiment setup is the one that I just explained in the previous slide. The control group will see the product as is, and the variant will see the product with the change. Right? In our example, it was the Grab homepage with the crazy Avengers logo. Okay, and the second use case is when we want to launch an entirely new product. Okay, in this case, we are going from 0 to 1, from no product to a product. Okay, one example is, and I'm gonna spend some time to explain this sort of example because I'll be using it over and over again throughout this session. It's a product that we call delivery guarantee. Okay, so I hope most of you guys are aware that we have a product called Grab Express at Grab. Basically, Grab Express allows you to deliver goods from point A to point B. Let's say you want to send a Valentine's gift from your house to your girlfriend's house, or you want to send an iPhone 12 from your house to your girlfriend's house because you just got into a fight and now you have to give her an iPhone 12, right? Whatever it is, you can always deliver those goods with Grab Express. Okay, and one of the pain points of Grab Express users, especially in Indonesia, about last year was that there was a lot of anxiety when people are delivering valuable goods like iPhone 12, right? They are scared that our drivers will damage or will lose the iPhone 12 in transit, and then they have to get into a couple of paperwork to discuss things with us, right? In order to file a complaint, try to get some reimbursement for us. Now that's a pain point, right? People are anxious when they're delivering valuable items. So a solution that we provided to our users is this product that we call as delivery guarantee. So what delivery guarantee is, you can think of it as an insurance policy for the items that you're delivering with Grab Express. Okay, so whenever someone is booking a Grab Express delivery, she can purchase this insurance policy upfront, which is relatively cheap. And if let's say her iPhone 12 is damaged or is lost in transit in delivery, we will reimburse her a certain amount of money depending on the value of her iPhone 12 and the value of the policy that she bought. Okay, so prior to this, which is June 2020, prior to June 2020, this feature doesn't exist. If someone wants to book a Grab Express delivery, she cannot choose this kind of insurance policy under delivery guarantee. But then we discovered that there's this problem. We came up with the product idea, and then a natural next step for us was to run an A/B testing in order to determine whether or not we should launch this product in Indonesia. Okay, again, new product ideas. The experiment setup is as follows. Okay, the control group will not see the new product, whereas the variant group will see and can use the new product. Okay, I know it sounds a bit weird, but I'll run you through in depth about what this actually means. So whenever you Google A/B testing articles or YouTube videos, most of what you'll see online is on the first use case, which is changes on existing products. Okay, And the reason for that is because most of the companies in the United States or in the Europe, they are not super apps. Okay, if we think about Netflix, it has a huge valuation, but it essentially only has one core product offering, which is streaming services. Now things are a bit different in Asia, right? We have a lot of super apps, be it in China or Singapore or Indonesia, right? And what makes super app different is that we launch new products every year. We always launch new products. And so that is why when you read articles online, because most of them are from the US, they will typically just discuss the first use case. Okay, and that is exactly why I will instead be discussing on the second use case today, because working at Grab as a super app, as I mentioned, we have had the opportunity of launching a lot of products yearly, right? And I think this is a valuable experience that I can share with you guys that you may not be able to see online. Okay, all good this far? All good. Okay, so yeah, those are two main use cases of A/B testing. And so you guys may be wondering what the experiment setup looks like in practice, right? So again, we have two different screens. We have two different flows. The one on the left is the control environment, which means that whenever they book a Grab Express delivery, they will not be able to see or use delivery guarantee. And the one on the right is the variant environment, where people can see and use delivery guarantee when they are booking a Grab Express delivery. Okay, so again, we have thousands of people using Grab Express every day, right? And what we'll do is we'll split 50% of them to see the control environment, and we call these people the control group. And the other 50%, we will let them see and use delivery guarantee when they're booking a Grab Express delivery. Okay, so again, it's a 50-50 split. The control will not see our new product. The variant will see our new product. Okay, hope everyone is comfortable with the setup. So now the next thing that you may be wondering is why? Why do we need to run A/B testing whenever we have a new product idea? Why can't we just say, yeah, I think this product will succeed. Let's just launch it, right? Why do we need to run an A/B testing before that? Okay, so there are a lot of different reasons. Okay, can think of 100 reasons, but at Grab, there are 4 main reasons why we have to run A/B tests every time we have a new product idea. Okay. The first reason is to determine whether or not we should launch the product. Okay. We don't launch 100% of the product ideas that we have. We need to select what product should we launch. Okay. And there are 2 things that we need to ensure before we say, yes, this product is good and we should launch this product. The first thing is we need to ensure that the product achieves the targets that we set. Why? Why do we need to do this? And this is a very core principle of Grab, which is our customer centricity, okay? The reason why we need to ensure our product achieves its targets is because whenever we launch a new product, we need to make sure that this product solves our consumer's problem, either our passenger or our drivers, okay? If our product does not solve the problem that our users are facing, then it makes no sense for us to launch the product, and instead we should come up with another solution that solves their problems. Okay, so an important part of running an A/B testing is always setting the success metrics, right? And setting the targets that our product must achieve with regards to those success metrics. Okay, so a very simple success metric that we use very often, especially in delivery guarantee, is what we call as adoption rate. Okay, how many people actually use our product? If the number is low, it means that our product is not solving their problems, and so they don't see a reason why they should use it. And a very simple target could be as simple as 50%, right? If 1 out of 2 users use our product, then we can safely say that it is solving their problems. Okay, so whatever your product is, whatever the use case is, you must come up with success metrics and the targets that your product must achieve with those success metrics. Okay, and the second thing that we need to ensure is that we need to ensure that our product does not cause negative impacts on our other products. Okay, and this is a very super app specific thing. Again, Grab has tens of products and services. We have a lot of products in our Grab app. So whenever we launch something new, we need to make sure that the product performs well, but also that it doesn't cause negative impact on other products. Okay, So in the case of delivery guarantee, one product that we needed to pay a close attention to is Grab Express, right? Because delivery guarantee is tied to Grab Express. And what we did was we say, okay, the users in the variant group should not have a lower number of Grab Express bookings per user, right? And that is why it is important for us to run an A/B testing, because then we can compare the performance of the Grab Express between control and between variant, right? If, let's say, the number of Grab Express bookings or the maybe dollar Grab Express revenue per user drops in the variant group as compared to the control group, then we will say, hey, delivery guarantee is causing a negative impact on Grab Express. And so even though the adoption is good, we will not launch it. Okay, and in fact, just a fun fact is that actually users in the variant group make more Grab Express bookings than control group, which is a very impressive finding for us, because it means that delivery guarantee actually resulted in a positive impact for Grab Express as a product. Okay, so that's the first reason, because we want to determine whether or not we should launch it. Okay, the second reason is for us to prioritize product launches. Okay, we have hundreds to thousands of product ideas every year. Yeah, so what A/B testing allows us is not just to determine which product to launch, but also prioritize the different product launches. Okay, and it helps us to innovate and launch products at scale and in a strategic fashion. Okay, so that's on the second reason. The third reason is for us to learn more about our users. Okay, my first two reasons were all about product launches, but A/B testing shouldn't stop at just product launches. Okay, A/B testing allows us to learn more about our users and their behaviors. Okay, one example is one of our analysts, after the experiment was done on delivery guarantee, she came in and tried to analyze whether users in the variant group make more cashless transactions compared to the control group. Okay, again, cashless bookings were not a success metric for us, right? Our success metric was adoption rate. We don't care about cashless bookings. It doesn't affect us as a product. But she came with an open mind, and she managed to find out that yes, users in the variant group make more cashless bookings, which means that we have an additional information, an additional knowledge that we can gain out of our user behavior. Okay, so that's the third reason, which is to learn more about our users. And for all the statistic geeks, this is where things get a bit more interesting for you guys, okay? The reason why we need to do A/B testing is because we want to achieve all of those three reasons in a statistically significant fashion, okay? Technically, if you want to see whether your product achieves its targets, or if you want to learn more about our users, you can just do a pre-post analysis, right? Meaning you launch your product to 100% of the users, and then you compare the metrics before and after the launch, right? So instead of the usual A/B testing method of splitting 50-50, you're just going to roll out the new product on 100% of the users. The reason why we don't do this kind of pre-post analysis is because it is not statistically significant, because there's a lot of noises in your data, okay? Let's say you launch delivery guarantee at the end of February, so you conduct a pre-post analysis of the Grab Express metrics for the month of February, which is before the launch, and the month of March, which is after the launch. And then you figure out that, hey, the number of Grab Express bookings per user dropped after the launch of delivery guarantee. Can you say that delivery guarantee is causing a negative impact on Grab Express? The answer is no, because there's a lot of other factors that could have caused the drop in the number of Grab Express bookings per user, such as maybe in March there was a Chinese New Year, or maybe there was a lockdown in March, so people were sending items less. I don't know, I'm just making up different scenarios. But basically, in a pre-post analysis, you can never be confident about your results because there's a lot of noises in your data. Okay, so if I could recap all of those reasons into one page. Okay, the first reason is because we need to determine whether or not we should launch the product. Second reason is to prioritize product launches. Third of all is to allow us to learn more about our users. And lastly is to achieve all of those things in a statistically significant fashion. It means that your analysis is statistically rigor. There's no loopholes in your analysis. Okay, and so what all of these four things boil down to is what I like to call the data-driven innovation culture at Grab. Imagine if we don't have an A/B testing culture at Grab, okay? Whenever someone proposes an idea, it will be up to our CEO and our founders to decide whether or not the product should be launched, right? This is if we don't have A/B testing. But thanks to A/B testing, we let our users, we let you to decide whether or not we should launch the product. So this fosters an innovation culture because we don't leave it to our highest paying executives to decide which product to launch. Okay, so I hope I didn't bore you. I hope until this slide right here, I've managed to pitch you guys the idea of why you should run A/B testing whenever you have a new product idea. Yeah, but before I close this session, yeah, I need to give you guys a bit of a reality check, because your life, our lives are not always rainbows and unicorns, and most likely, most of your A/B testing will tell you that you should not launch your product ideas. I'm just making the statistic on top of my head, but let's say there's 1,000 startups in the world. Maybe only 5 to 10 of them will become profitable, and only one of them will become a unicorn. I don't know, I'm just making up stuff. Why I'm bringing this up is because among 1,000 of your ideas, most likely only 5 to 10 maybe will be successful. I don't know the probability. But whatever the number is, I can guarantee you that most of your product ideas will fail. Okay? So the natural question then, what should you do? What happens if your A/B testing tells you that your product sucks and you shouldn't launch it? Okay, I have 4 foolproof ways. And it's a very quick one. Number 1 is you need to acknowledge that failure is okay. Okay, I'm not a self-help coach. Okay, I suck at self-help. But the purpose of A/B testing is to allow yourself to fail in a contained way. Imagine if you only discover that your product sucks after you launch it to 100% of your users. Okay, you'll be in a lot of trouble, especially if you work in a company as big as Grab. Okay, so A/B testing gives you a safety net that allows you to fail before you launch your product to 100% of your users. Okay, and a pro tip from my colleague is that innovation is all about volume of ideas, never about the quality of ideas. Okay, I'll give you 2 scenarios. Scenario A, you have 10 product ideas, very small number, with a 10% success rate, which means that your quality is quite high, right? 1 out of 10 ideas, that's quite high. You will end up with 1 successful product, right? 10 times 10%, you have 1 successful product. Scenario B, you have a high volume of ideas, let's say 100 product ideas with a 2% success rate, right? You will end up with 2 successful products, right? So you will end up having more successful product if you have high volume, even though you have lower quality. Okay, so my pro tip is, as my colleague has mentioned right here in my slide, bring more volume of ideas, not necessarily the quality of those ideas that matters. Okay, I hope you guys internalize this wisdom from my friend. Second tip, segmentize your result. Okay, sometimes your product may not be successful at an aggregate level, but it could be successful under the right segmentation. For example, let's say we have a fashion apparel website, okay? And you run an experiment, you want to see the, conversion rate for the new change in your fashion website. And then you find out that the conversion improvement, let's say there's no conversion improvement. But maybe when you segmentize your data to only female users, then you figure out there's an improvement in, let's say, conversion, right? So why am I saying this is because sometimes, again, the success may not be at an aggregate level, but when you segmentize your result properly, you will be able to see success, okay? Another example, let's say we use the delivery guarantee example. Let's say the adoption rate is under 50%, which is under our target. And then it may be suck, it means that your product sucks. Oh, sorry, my product sucks. But let's say it falls below 50%. But when you segmentize your data, let's say you look at the users age above 35 versus age below 35, right? And why I'm doing an age segmentation is because maybe the older age group is more risk averse, so they tend to buy delivery guarantee. And then you see that the adoption rate for the users age above 35 who are more risk averse is, let's say, 80%. Whereas the adoption rate for users age below 35, who are more YOLO and are more constrained when it comes to finances, the adoption rate is 10%. That's why when you aggregate the data, the result is below 50%. Okay, now you have an additional information to work with, right? Yes, your product sucks, but at least it works well for the older age group. Okay, just to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer, the adoption rate of delivery guarantee was above 50%, so that's why we launched it. I just want to make sure that I don't say the wrong things here. My PR can kill me, okay? So as a data scientist or as an analyst, this is where domain expertise is very important. You need to know what kind of segmentation makes sense for your product. Maybe for delivery guarantee, it was age segmentation. For the fashion example that I gave, it was gender, because males and females have different fashion sense and different purchase patterns. Okay, whatever your product is, this is where you really need to hone your domain expertise in order to understand what segmentation makes sense. Okay, so that's the second tip on segmenting your result. Third tip is you need to find out why your product fails, because your product only fails if you don't know why it fails. And this is where, as a data scientist or a data analyst, it requires you to step out of your comfort zone, to go beyond the data that you have collected and actually listen, or even better, talk to your users, okay? This will usually require a lot of qualitative approaches, such as conducting surveys, conducting focus group discussions, or reading your App Store reviews. But whatever it is that you decide to do, you need to have a way to listen to your users and understand why your product is failing. Okay, and lastly, and most importantly, is to iterate. Okay, maybe you've learned that your product just sucks and you need to pivot into an entirely new solution. Maybe you learn from your segmentation that your product is good, just on different segments. Or maybe you figure out that the problem that you were trying to solve in the first place did not exist. So you need to find a new problem to tackle. Whatever it is that you decide to do with additional piece of information that you have, you must never stop iterating and taking your next step. And why is this important? It's because data-driven innovation culture is all about a habit. It's all about a cycle of finding a problem, creating a solution, running A/B tests to validate that solution. And once in a while you will fail, but most importantly is you must never stop iterating, and you must never continue finding a problem that your users are facing. Okay, so that concludes my session for today. These are my contacts if you guys want to reach out to me. But yeah, happy to answer some questions. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for the sharing, Mr. Jeremia. And today I learned what is the A/B testing, and I love Captain America anyway. Just a joke. Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna bring up the characters in Avengers, but I assume everyone knows those people.
Sorry for the Iron Man fans. We have one question. Okay. We have one question from Preston Ong. How do you decide how long to run A/B tests?
No, that's a very good question. Actually, if I'm gonna be honest, this is a problem that we've always faced at Grab, and there's no right or wrong answer with this. Okay, so there are typically two situations whenever you run an A/B test. First of all, is a situation where there are a lot of constraints and trade-offs. Okay, let's say one product that I recently was involved in is a product that we call food priority delivery. If you're in Singapore, you will see this in whenever you book a GrabFood delivery. Basically, what happens is you can pay a certain amount of fees, and we will guarantee that your food will arrive very, very early, right? So we are ensuring the time to arrival of your food. Okay, so I hope it's clear for you guys that whenever we launch this kind of product, it gives issues to the supply and demand. Because we are prioritizing certain people's orders, it could potentially mess up the supply and demand of Grab drivers and the amount of demand of food delivery. In this case, we have constraint, we have trade-offs. If, let's say, the adoption of food priority is too high, everyone wants to be prioritized, the supply of like the supply and demand will be very messed up, right? So there are trade-offs here. And what we do is we model, right? We quantify this trade-off in the form of, like, let's say a minimum adoption rate, or like a minimum, like let's say a minimum detectable effect that the A/B testing must achieve. Okay, in this case, because you have a minimum detectable effect that you need to accomplish, you have a trade-off, you have a minimum detectable effect, you have a minimum sample size that you need to achieve before you end the experiment. In this case, it's easy. We can model the trade-off, and now we know how long we should run it. The more tricky part is if there's no trade-off, if there's no constraint. Let's say I'm changing, let's say, a design of a product that no one barely uses. Like, I'm not saying that there's a product that like that in Grab, but let's assume there's a product that no one uses. So no one cares how long you will run the A/B testing in this product because it's not a very important product. It is not a very, like, there's no other experiments being lined up. You can take as many time as you want. In this case, you can just run the A/B testing forever because you have no constraint. You have nothing to think about. You can run the experiment forever, even if it's statistically wrong. Okay, so to give a bit of a recap, it is this question is a very tricky question because even at Grab we are always struggling with it. But the easy part is when there's constraint, if there is trade-offs that needs to be faced, and then you can model these trade-offs in the form of minimum detectable effect and therefore the minimum sample size. The second part that is more tricky is when there's no trade-off, there's no constraint, there's no other experiment being lined up. In that case, you can potentially just run it forever until there's a significant result in your experiment, which I agree is wrong, but it works.
I see. All right, it's a good questions, President Ong.
Yes.
I hope Mr. Jeremia answer your questions.
Yeah.
So do feel free if you want to like add on to your current question. Okay, so we have the second question from Elena. Hi, Mr. Jeremia. Can you recommend a few A and B testing tools that we can use?
Okay, that's also an excellent question. So at Grab, we I was distracted by the other question. So at Grab, we don't have like a specific A/B testing tool that we use because we do have an infrastructure of running A/B testing. Right? We have a platform that we use to, let's say, split users into control versus variant group. We have that. We have SQL, which allow us to query data. We have Tableau, which allows us to visualize the data, etc. But essentially, we don't have like a 360 A/B, like a specific A/B testing tool to do that. What I know online is I think there are certain tools like Amplitude that allows you to build like an end-to-end A/B testing platform. But at Grab, we don't have this sort of like overarching A/B testing tool. We do have like infrastructures here and there, and we just use those infrastructure for A/B testing instead of having a specific or a specific platform only for A/B testing. Yeah, but I think you can Google Amplitude. I think it's a bit pricey though, especially for like, I think a startup, like having a dedicated platform for A/B testing is quite expensive for a startup. Yeah.
I see. All right. So Alina, so I hope Jeremiah answer your questions. Just Google Amplitude.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So we have the next question. Okay. So we have 3 more minutes from now. So please feel free to ask question. Okay. We have the next question from 1PY. What's the difference between A/B testing and beta testing?
I have actually never heard about beta test. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I get it. Beta testing is a software concept. That's a good question though. Okay, A/B testing is. Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Okay, everyone, let's go back. Beta testing happens when you are coding, when you are building a new product, and you want to make sure there's no bugs or there's no issues in your product. It is for the usability. Is there bugs? Are there edge cases that you haven't figured out? So let's say I'm making a game. okay, a game of RPG. I need to launch a beta testing first to make sure that there's no issues with the game. If people find a bug during this beta testing, then people can report the bugs and then I will fix it. So this is a software engineering concept. There's also alpha testing, right? So usually people do alpha testing first to a smaller groups of user and then beta testing to a larger group of user. And A/B testing is more on analytics. It is to validate whether or not people like your game or people like your product. Okay, so that's what I'm getting by beta testing here. Let me know if I'm wrong, Juan. But again, to recap, beta testing is a software engineering or a development concept. A/B testing is a more analytics / product focus sort of concept.
I got it. I hope you got it too, Juan. So, okay, we have the next from Fatin. So, hi, Mr. Jeremia. I assuming you at Grab, would have a lot of topics and idea that you would like to test, but how do you decide which idea is worth testing on?
Oh, that's an amazing question.
Amazing.
So, because just now I was giving a presentation on prioritizing which products to launch, and then she's asking me how to prioritize which products to experiment on. So that's a good question. There is no foolproof way of doing this. The way we do it at Grab is using RICE model. So RICE model, I forgot what it stands for, but basically you are estimating the impact of this product versus the effort that is needed to build this product. Okay, so general rule of thumb is products that you estimate to have a high impact, you will prioritize to experiment. If let's say it's about experimenting, let's say a new small icon in your product page. Maybe this has very low impact, so there's no point in prioritizing this experiment. In another scenario, let's say you're doing a major product overhaul. You are changing the whole design. You are changing the user experience. So there's a lot of potential impact that can be generated. So you will prioritize this instead. So to give a bit of a TLDR, the way we do it is by estimating the impact as well as the effort needed to run the experiment. And then we select from that prioritization.
I see.
Yeah, good question, this one, yeah.
Yeah, Fatin, good questions. Thank you. So the next one. Okay, so actually we are running out of time, so we will just have 2 more questions. Okay, so next one is re-renting. What type automated tools for functional testing is recommended? I think this one Mr. Jeremia has answered, right?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I think if it's about A/B testing, then yeah, I've answered that. Yeah, I don't know what other functional testing is there.
Yes. Please Google the. Repeat the name again.
Amplitude.
Amplitude.
Let me just put it in the chat. Amplitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, thanks Vijaya. Yeah, RICE is reach, impact, confidence, offer, effort. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can answer 2 more then. Yeah, just to.
Yep. So the next one from Chiu Feng. Sometimes there's many initiative tasks run concurrently. In this case, how can we attribute the testing result accurately?
Ooh, this is a good question, man. Now I feel like we should extend the time. The questions are good. Okay, this is a very good question. There are 2 ways of approaching this. Number 1, there's statistical methods to attribute the result correctly. Okay, what do you call this? This one is called multivariate testing. So it's a higher level of A/B testing where you have a lot of. No, it's not multivariate. I don't exactly recall the terminology for it, but there's a statistical method to attribute the result accurately. So how do I explain this?
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, let me think. Yeah, this one I need to think. I actually need to think.
Okay, it's okay. Just take your time. So it's a good question.
So let's say like this. Okay, let's say we have variant A and B. This is the first experiment, and a variant 1 and variant 2. This is the second test, right? Concurrently. To know which one is so people in the user group A, you must make sure they have a 50% chance of being in 1 and being in 2. Similarly, users in variant B must have an equal opportunity to be in variant 1 and variant 2. If you want to attribute whether the success is because of A versus B, what you need to do is for users in group A, you need to average the result between A1 and A2, right? Which is users in group A and 1 and users in group A and 2, you average the result and then you compare with variant B, which is the average of B1 and B2. If you want to see the effect between variant 1 versus variant 2, which is our second test, for variant 1, you need to average the result across A and B. So 1A and 1B, that's the actual average of variant 1. And for variant 2, you need to average across 2A and 2B, which is the net effect of variant 2. But at Grep, we typically don't do this kind of concurrent tests. The alternative is you just need to make sure users who are in the first experiment, which is our AB experiment, is exclusive of users in the second experiment, which is the 1-2 experiment. Okay, so these users don't interact at all. We make them exclusive. And the reason for that is to reduce the noise, right? Because there may be interaction between A and 1, or there may be interaction between B and 1. So the most foolproof solution is to make sure these two tests don't touch the same group of users. But if it's already done, like you have no choice, you can't split them like exclusively. The one thing that you can do is, as I mentioned, you average it across different slices. I'm not sure what's the terminology. Unfortunately, I'm bad at thinking on top of my head. But yeah, that's the gist of it, I guess. Good question, this one. Yeah.
Good question. And we have a great helper from Jocelyn Lim. I think she shared a link about some more data, okay, to answer your questions.
Yeah, ANOVA, yes, it's called ANOVA. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Jocelyn. You're good. Chifu, I hope Mr. Jeremiah answered your questions, and please feel free to. I'm sorry, the time is up, but I hope you can get your answer. So the last question is from Nantini. Okay. Hi, Mr. Jeremiah. Is there? Oh, you are seeking for a job.
But we do actually. You just have to go to our Grep portal, look for data analyst or data scientist job. We are hiring a lot. If you want to be in the same role as me, who does A/B testing, I will type in the role here. It's my role. I don't have the link ready. I was thinking of putting the recruitment link here, but I thought maybe too aggressive. But you guys can feel free to ping me. I'll gladly refer any of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you get the job, Nantini, please remember to share and like our ABCDE page, and please remember us. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I think I will just answer the last question because it's quite straightforward too by Yoken.
Okay.
Visualization is not important when it comes to A/B testing. Because there's just control group and variant group. There are only 2 data points. There's nothing to visualize. So a visualization tool is not very important in A/B testing. It is more important to do the statistics part of it. Yeah. So I don't think visualization is important.
All right. Thank you. So it's very happy to all of the participants ask all the professional questions, and one is seeking for job, and congratulations if you get it. And so our session is end here, but once again I want to say thank you, Mr. Jeremiah, and everybody here. So the next section we will be at 2 p.m. and we have a senior regional manager Asian cloud engineer from Oracle. So please do not miss the great sharing at 2 p.m. So I will see you again at 2. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.